Do you need a good night's sleep? Then watch something else, because these true, scary, ding-dong ditching horror stories will keep you up tonight. Ding-dong ditching. It's something most of us have done at one point or another, and I've always been down to jest with my buddies. Though, I never knew one would end up with me running for my life. My name is Eric, and here's what happened. My friend Mike and I were staying at our friend Zach's place, watching a football game. After the match, Mike suggested we go ding-dong ditching. Zach was apprehensive. Well, more like lazy. It took us a little convincing, but he agreed. We decided to walk around and ring the bells of houses a few blocks down. It went just as you would expect. You name the classic reactions: shouts, threats, and no responses. On our way back, we saw a house. It looked a little abandoned. Well, more like no one was doing regular maintenance. It seemed a little messier compared to the other houses in the neighborhood. It was Zach's turn, so he rang the bell a few times while we hid behind a nearby car. At first, there was no reaction. We were about to leave as we thought no one lived there, but Mike wanted to ring the bell again, and he did. A couple of times. Someone turned on the lights in the hallway. As soon as we saw that, we sprinted. Zach, though, just had to fall like a ridiculous character in a movie. And if that wasn't a big enough blunder, he just had to shout at the top of his lungs, "Eric, Mike, wait for me!" I laughed at him, but stopped to wait for him to get up. Never had I seen him look so terrified in the years of our friendship. When I looked back, my expression mirrored Zach's, if they weren't more frightened. Lo and behold, we have a big 6-foot man in the doorway glaring at us, shouting curses. If looks could kill, there would be 3 dead bodies in front of that rustic house. That look was enough for us to turn on our bolt modes. He didn't chase us. We ran as fast as we could. We were howling with laughter when we reached Zach's house. The adrenaline rush was so worth the danger. So, why not do it again? The next day, we did the same. Ran away after ringing the bells of houses we had missed the day before. And well, the only place we decided to repeat was, you guessed it, the not-so-abandoned one. I declared, "Today is my turn to ring the bell," and rang the bell. The door opened so fast as if he was waiting for us to show up. It won't be an overstatement if I say I nearly passed out when I saw a gun in the man's hands. I sprinted and ran for my life, literally. Luckily, he still hadn't shot the gun, but I wasn't going to test my luck again. The man was snarling and hollering, "I will find you! Run as fast as you can, Eric! Run, Mike, run!" And we did. They say you shouldn't look behind while running away from someone, but I made that mistake. He was following behind us slowly. Despite walking so slowly, he was reaching closer and faster than humanly possible. At that moment, I prayed to make it out alive. The faster we ran, the closer he seemed to be getting. The sound of a gunshot echoed. I didn't dare to look back this time. We shifted to the next street, and thankfully no one was following us anymore, but we ran as fast as we could. We were panting for breath as soon as we reached Zach's house, making sure all of us made it out alive and locked the doors and windows of Zach's house. It's safe to say I could not sleep peacefully for a few weeks. My name is Edward. I grew up rather mischievous. My mother always said that as docile as my first child is, Edward is equally naughty. However, I grew up hearing that statement throughout my childhood endless times. And it wasn't wrong. I really was always looking for trouble. One such incident, though, landed me in a severe problem. Like, deadly serious. Literally. This was when I was around 17 years old. I walked around the city on a lazy Sunday with my friends Charlie, Aiden, and Jack to kill the boredom. Charlie suggested that we play a game of ding-dong ditch. It was getting rather dark, and there were signs of a stormy night ahead. We made our way through the neighborhood, ringing doorbells and running away. To annoy them even more, we rang the doorbells twice or even 3 times. The frustrated reactions and half yells were quite an adrenaline rush for us. We ran away while laughing as we heard the mixed responses of our unsuspecting victims. We kept doing it for so long that we didn't even notice it was almost nighttime. We passed from one neighborhood to another, but there was one neighborhood we approached that looked rather strange. With every step I took, I felt anxiety creeping through me, but silently followed as I didn't want to appear as a loser in front of my friends. The houses and buildings were old and run down, with boarded up windows and peeling paint. Trash and debris littered the streets, and there was a sense of abandonment and neglect. And there was no one around there, not even a single car that would pass by. There seemed to be a sense of danger lurking around every corner. I couldn't help but shake the feeling that I was being watched. I voiced my concerns and told them something didn't feel right, but my friends laughed it off. They said that since I was so skittish, I should be the one to ring the bell now. I hesitated, but agreed. By this time, we had reached the last house on the street, but as we approached the last house on our list, something felt off. The house was old and dilapidated, and the windows were boarded up. I stepped ahead hesitantly and rang the bell. There was no sound of the bell ringing, just utter hush, eerie, creepy silence. We waited for a moment, but no one responded to the door. Just as I was about to run to leave, the door squeaked open with a really squeaky sound, like it hadn't been moved for years. A woman stood in the doorway. I turned to run before my mind could even register her features, but she moved superhumanly fast and grabbed me by the collar. I froze on the spot, and that's when I glanced at her face. Her face had a very menacing look to it. That's when it hit me. I had to run. I screamed for my friends to help me, but they had already escaped, leaving me abandoned. She was trying to drag me into the house while I constantly tried to pull away from her. Resisting by planting my feet on the ground as hard as I could, I screamed as loudly as possible, and she yanked me back, shaking me to my core. All the logic in me had left my mind at that moment, leaving me terrified for my life. She pulled me closer and whispered in a voice that sent chills down my spine.
"You shouldn't have messed with me."
I was thrashing to get out of her grip. It didn't feel like I was 17, but instead a 7-year-old. I felt powerless and abandoned, but my friends soon returned, carrying stones, throwing them at her. A few of them hit me, but they didn't damage me as much as the fear of losing my life did. Suddenly, she let go of me. I didn't take a second and sprinted towards the door. Without turning back, I ran without looking at the direction I was running towards. My friends followed me. We ended up at a cafe nearby, where we sat to catch our breath. Indeed, after that ding-dong, ditching wasn't a faint memory, but more like a nightmare. To this day, that incident still haunts my dreams. My name is Oliver, and this happened around 5 years ago. I got bored at home with nothing on TV but Christmas shows, so taking advantage of the Christmas break, I decided to hang out with my friends Paul, Alex, and Max. From there, we decided to go eat some pizza. Ultimately, we decided to ding-dong ditch. We had a proper way planned for ding-dong ditching, where we chose a specific house and rang the bell repeatedly. It was something we had done many times. The closest we had gotten to severe trouble was when someone dumped buckets of ice-cold water on us. We walked around town attempting to find the perfect house for today. We walked around for approximately 30 minutes when we found the perfect one. It looked well kept and taken care of, indicating that people were maintaining it. My friend Max rang the bell repeatedly, around 5 times. The rest of us stood around laughing and being noisy. He came back and we ran away, walked around for a few minutes, and returned. This time I volunteered, and while approaching the door, I couldn't shake off the feeling that someone was watching, but I rang the bell 3 to 4 times nevertheless. While running away, I caught a glimpse of someone staring at us from the bushes. It felt like someone was there, hiding, ready to pounce. I shook that feeling off. My mind was probably making things up to scare me. Joining my friends, we ran away again. Next time we took a comparatively longer time to return to ensure that the residents weren't as alert as before. Though, when going back this time, I was extremely apprehensive. I tried to warn my friends that I saw someone staring from the window, but they just laughed it off. And I was convinced because I thought it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was about to happen, that something was going wrong. We rang the doorbell again. This time Alex stepped up. We waited for someone to answer, but there was no reaction. Maybe it was really in my mind. We wavered for a moment, and then we decided to leave. But as Alex joined us and we were about to turn around, we heard a sound coming from the bushes. It was an aggressive growl of a dog. This growl scared me even though I was a dog owner for the entirety of my life. Soon I saw a Rottweiler hiding in the bush. It had sleek black fur with a hint of brown. Its growling turned into a deep, menacing bark. I could notice the rage and aggression in its eyes. I could swear this dog wasn't there when we were here the last few times. He was clearly let out. I knew that Rottweilers had a reputation for being protective and strong dogs, but this one seemed different. It was clearly agitated and angry. He looked like it was ready to attack. I felt a wave of fear wash over me as I realized that this animal was not to be underestimated. I slowly backed away, not taking my eyes off the Rottweiler. I knew that I needed to be careful. This animal was not just enraged, but also unpredictable and dangerous. Abruptly, the house's front door squeaked open. The dog stopped growling, and a figure appeared in the doorway. And that sound of a creaking wasn't what we were expecting from a house that looked so pleasant. Talk about a turn of events. It was a man holding a large, rusty axe. He was a tall man dressed casually. But the contrast between his casual dress, the axe in his hands, and his grim expression made it even scarier. If eyes could speak, his spoke murder. He clearly wanted to harm us. I froze in fear as he began to walk towards us, the axe held high. I tried to run, but my legs felt rooted in place. My friends were equally terrified as me, and I could see the fright on their faces. The man stepped out. We were shaken to our senses, and every one of us sprinted toward the road. He ran behind us, but terrified, we didn't look back. None of us had any idea when he stopped chasing us. We ran back to Paul's house as it was the closest. There is one thing more scary than these scary, true, ding-dong ditching horror stories, and it's what your life would be like without watching more of our videos.